But they didn't expect the mirror.
Heyoka.
You had receipts, screenshots, timestamps, metadata, and when you dropped them in the group chat, the mask cracked. The unfriending began. The silence shifted. The questions started. Wait, how did he get those photos of him anyway? Now they're walking it back. Now the ones who once avoided you are concerned. Now they say, we had no idea. But you did. You knew the whole time, and now they do too. Because the mirror didn't just reflect him, it showed them. And that reflection, it was never yours to carry. Carl Jung taught that the shadow, the unconscious part of the psyche, wants to be seen. But not everyone is ready to see it. And when it's mirrored back to them by someone who holds that power, someone like a Heyoka, the reaction can be...
For some reason, the audio wants to cut out right there. However, I'm able to give my unique perspective on what it's been like for me with having abilities, Heyoka type abilities, and or shaman abilities. All of my life, I've noticed that I draw attention whenever I walk into a room. And whenever I was younger, I used to confuse it with people were judging me for my weight. Because I've always been a bigger girl, heavier girl, and I was extremely self-conscious as a child and young girl. And as I've gotten older, and I've learned how to be more confident and, grateful for the way that I look, and I appreciate that I'm different, and I like that I'm different. Guess you could thank my Venus in Aquarius for that. I see beauty in things that are different and smart and eccentric. But I digress. But yes, I've always drawn attention whenever I walk into a room. And that's kind of hard to navigate when sometimes you just want to disappear. And whenever you hold great power, like with a Heyoka, it's definitely, with great power comes great responsibility. Because we're responsible for reflecting back to others their shadow, reflecting back to others their higher self as well. I've always been a great mirror. I've always mirrored people. But I still have my own, personal identity and my personal personality that shines through no matter what. But it can cause for difficult interpersonal relationships, whether that's romantic or platonic or friendship type of relationships. For example, my best friend of 30 years, we had a recent falling out. And it was because I match energy and I was giving the same energy back to her. It's a hard gift to have. And you do it unconsciously. You don't even realize you're doing it. And the harsh reality is that you're sitting back realizing, this person never even really knew who I was. They never really cared to see who I really, really am. And that's sad. There's a sort of melancholy that comes from that. And losing yourself in the identity of your romantic partner, you kind of, I guess it can in ways, because I've been diagnosed with just about every mood disorder you can imagine. But I don't think it's any of that. Borderline personality, I guess, could show up a lot like a Heyoka, because that's what borderline personality people do, is they reflect. They essentially take on the personality of those around them and reflect it back to the person, and that's how they've learned how to navigate in social situations. And it's a way of coping. It's a way of, fitting in. And you can put tism on there too if you want to. But I think it's honestly just built down to that, spiritual ability. Not everyone is able to understand that part, understand the healing and the magic that comes through with that, because it's consciousness moving through me to help trigger awakening in other humans. And when you don't feel like you're meant for this world, that you're not, that you don't belong here, it's quite intense. I wouldn't give this life up for nothing. I wouldn't. I love the fact that I've finally come to terms with my abilities. And they scared me for the longest time. But I got a job here. I got a job to do in this life. I have a mission that I'm supposed to do. And whenever I found out that from my personal Heyoka, from the tribe that I was associated with, he explained to me the concept of lightning beings of a lot of times that Heyokas know that they are Heyokas because they have a vision of lightning beings and being come down, you know, being enlightening. And I have had an extremely life-changing experience on psychedelics where I met with ancient ancestors. They were Native American. This particular night was especially Native American for sure. My best friend, my soul sister in the entire world, she's half Navajo. And I guess me and her connected very deeply to our Native American ancestral roots that night. But I'll never forget the vision that I had of after meeting with these elders in the spirit realm. Um, they gave me a million lifetimes full of knowledge in just moments, just increments of moments. And after I had this discussion with my spirit team, my ancestors, I remember them literally putting me into like kind of like this machine kind of thing. And it's like they put me in a rocket seat and slid me into a bolt of lightning. And I came crashing back down into my body.